Hey everybody, Mtn Grandma here. Today I'm going to share with you some of the books in my prepping library. These include foraging and plant identification, herbal reference tools for medicine making and Materia, Medica, and triaging patients in case of medical emergencies, as well as gardening and homesteading. This is part of BushcraftFamily's challenge, and I'm also shouting out 5 channels to join me in this. So wait to the end for that. Now let's get started.
All right, the first thing that I want to share with you is all these little books you see here are on trees that are native to the area or areas similar to the one that we're living in. And these are great to have for tree identification. You can identify trees not just by their leaves, but also obviously by their fruit and even the twigs. Even the little twigs, you can identify them in that regard. And it's great to know what trees you have in your area. And I like these books because they show a lot of pictures of what these trees look like. This book isn't necessarily real inclusive of all the medicinal applications, but it's great to have for identification, and then you can use other books to kind of help you identify them. Now, as far as foraging and identifying plants, this Botany in a Day is a really fun book to read and helps you to identify the relationships and the plant families that exist. And then a couple others that I have that I'll share are this Mushrooming Without Fear. This is a really great book for all kinds of mushrooms. And this Missouri's Wild Mushrooms. If you can have a mushroom book for your area, that would be a great thing to have. And you want to make sure there's pictures so that you can make a valid identification of a mushroom. I almost forget this guy. Medicinal Plants of the Mountain West. We're from Arizona, so I loved this book in Arizona, and it's got all kinds of information, medicinal use throughout here, so that's why I kept it. Even though we're not in the Mountain West anymore, it still has great information for me. I have a lot of herbal books that I reference, but every herbal library should start with, at minimum, this guy right here. Herb Contraindications and Drug Interactions. Very, very important. I'm also partial to this PDR. It's a physician's desk reference for herbal medicine. And you can see it's not loaded with a ton of pictures, but it's really a lot of great information just on everything. And I'll kind of flip through so you can get a feel for what's in here. So here's Horehound and actions in pharmacology, indications and usage, precautions and adverse reactions, dosage, literature, just all kinds of stuff in here. So this is a great book to have just because of the detail that it has on all of your herbs. One of the books that I have, Back to Eden by Jethro Kloss. Now there's a lot of information in here, and most of it I really like. Some of it I'm not so crazy about, and I don't feel like it's 100% accurate because there's new information out, and this is an older book. But don't underestimate the value, and don't ever use just one resource. You can see it was originally written in 72, updated as recently as 92. I don't know, maybe there's an even updated one out there, but I haven't seen it. I like this book. Do you see this? There is an entire chapter on the value of charcoal. I challenge anybody who has an herbal book to try to find something on charcoal. And I could say the same thing about different things that are in here. It's just really nice to have little old books like this where you can find information you can't find anywhere else. Another one that's kind of like that is this Herbally Yours, which is a real brief, condensed book. I love it. Sorted by either herb or, in another place, indication. And just kind of gives you bullets of herbs that are good, but you got to do more research than that. You don't just need a name. You need to know what side effects are, what it could be contraindicated for, all that good stuff. But this is another old one, but a good one. And then this Miracle Healing Herbs. This is a fun one. And again, I just like to have a large library of herbal books. I feel like that's my thing. That's where I spend a lot of time and energy. It's where people tend to ask me for guidance and help within the family. So this is where my information mostly comes from. More favorites that I have for herbal books are Healing with Whole Foods. It also includes information on TCM and diagnosis and stuff like that. It's not just all about food, it's about diagnosing, and I think that's really cool. Also Chinese herbs, Ayurvedic herbs. I love these books. And then here's another one, Way of Herbs. These are written by Michael Tierra, is an author or co-author on all of these. So I love all of those books. Another one that's real brief and to the point, this Handbook for Herbal Healing by Christopher Hobbs. And I really like, for example, Brain and Memory Formula. Really lots of good stuff in here. And it's kind of brief and concise. Again, it'll share ingredients, but you need to know your herbs. You need to know that you can tolerate certain herbs, or whoever you're helping to take care of can. So those are kind of things that you want to watch for. It's always great to have a book on diagnosing, like the one that I just mentioned. And this is another one, Healing with the Herbs of Life. Most of this book is all about diagnosing and making sure that you're providing the person the right herbs that are going to be effective for them. And then you want to make sure you have some kind of medicine making handbook, and I have two of those. I love this one right here, and this is the Herbal Medicine Maker's Handbook, and this one is the Modern Herbal Dispensatory by Thomas Easley and Stephen Horn. This is my newest one. It's really fun and has some great information in here. Also, the sample formulas they provide, I love those. Great book. All right, moving on. For gardening and growing herbs, these are so fun. I love them because they've got great, nice, big pictures, and they've got information on growing herbs and what can be harvested. You see these huge pictures? Isn't that nice? It's a really large book. This one's kind of the same way, and you can see here, just to give you a feel for what you see on the pages. Yeah, great books. And they both speak to the gardening aspect of the herbs too, so I really love that. All right, last but not least, and I thought, what books have I referenced this year? And I'm pulling out the ones that I've really found myself in the most. And this guy, let me move this camera a little bit. Country Wisdom and Know-How. This book has just about everything in it. It has some information on your livestock, not just building things, but harvesting and processing your animals. It has recipes. I found a really good pickled relish recipe in here that I love. Just all kinds of, I want to almost say random, but it's just everything that you would need to know around the homestead. Also, lots of gardening information. So this is a great book. Just so much information in here, and I've referenced this a lot. It even has some herbal information in here and treating colds and other, common illnesses. Fun book. Building tools and building information. So it's a really fun one. And then another one that I think is great for everybody to have is a Survival Medicine Handbook, a guide for when medical help is not on the way. So specifically when medical help is not on the way, how could you treat it? So, yeah, this is a great reference tool. Respiratory infections. Yep, you can see it talking about essential oils and, oh my goodness, dental extraction. The thing nobody wants to have happen in the first place, let alone in an SHTF situation. But anyways, this is a great book. Wound closures, great reference tool, a great thing to just kind of look through to know what information's available as well.
I hope you all have enjoyed all of these books that I shared. Don't forget to check out all the other channels participating. And now I'm going to call out 5 channels to join in on this challenge. Yogi Hollow Farm, The Budget Preppers, Minute on the Mountain, Ark Wild Man Survival, and Big Valley Living. Show us your prepping library. We're all wanting to see your books. Thank you all so much again for watching, and until I see you next time, everybody, keep your joy, folks.